welcome to our demo today for Marquise 360 Optimizing Time Management. My name's Megan, and I'm an account manager here at Marquise 360. So again, we're glad you're here, and we'll be hearing from Stella, our solutions architect, and Aaron Boyle, our marketing manager, in a few minutes. Our agenda today will be a quick overview about Marquise 360, how we can provide a one-connected solution. Then Stella will give the demo, and lastly, Q&A. And we love an interactive audience, so please ask questions along the way. Raise your hand, put them in the chat, and we'll get them answered either at that time or after the call. We're also going to be recording this, so I'll be sending it out after the demo as well if you want to pass along or if you want to go back and revisit it. So a little bit about us. Marquise 360 is a Microsoft Gold partner for project and portfolio management, and we've actually been a finalist for Partner of the Year the last 2 years, so we're real excited about that. We have a global footprint with locations in the US, Canada, and Europe, and our company was actually founded by former Microsoft employees, and our team has 20 plus years in the industry. So we bring best practices to every situation. And most importantly, we work side by side with Microsoft's technology team during their development. And there's a lot going on right now. So we are going to make it our focus to keep you guys up to date. Our core mission is on innovation and any areas or gaps that Microsoft might not be covering on their Power Platform or Power Automate. So we're going to take it to the next level and we'll fine tune it. Our main focus is our relationships, of course, and our customer successes. Thanks, Eric. We have a dedicated team assigned to each customer, available 24/7. And lastly, it's important that we act as your trusted advisor. So we're here to support our customers from start to finish. And we want to make sure your teams see our value. So we focus on change management and user adoption and all that good stuff. So y'all feel confident about the value that we provide. I'm going to go ahead and put my email in the chat. So feel free to reach out. We'd love to do private demos. We'll do a discovery with you and make sure it's focused to what you guys need in your PMO or your project and portfolio management. And with that, I'll hand it off to Erin.
Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Like Megan mentioned, we work with Microsoft 365 technologies. So what we do is we bring together all of those technologies in one space, so you're not having to switch around from different platforms, different screens, just to do your daily tasks. And what that looks like is we manage the project lifecycle from start to finish using Microsoft. So we use Microsoft Project, whether that's Project Online, Project for the Web. And that's what we use for your task management, schedules. And then we utilize Power Apps to extend the capabilities of Project out of the box. So give you a little bit more demand, scoring, timesheets, budget tracking, some of the things that Microsoft might be missing in Project. And then we bring it all together in Teams. So anything that you're seeing in your project schedule, you can also see in Teams. Like if you want to just update things in Teams, you don't have to switch back and forth. We use Power Automate to help with any manual processes. So approvals, any workflows, we use Power Automate for those so that you don't have to email each other back and forth if you're submitting, and you'll see a lot of that today with the Timesheet app. So if you want to just approve something, Power Automate takes care of that in the background. And then we do have reporting dashboards in Power BI, so all of your data can be seen in one place in interactive dashboards. And we have Power BI pack that already has the reports built out, so it's easy to implement for you. With that said, this is all built using the Power Platform, so that gives us an advantage to take some of the capabilities and space them out. So if you're not ready for a full PPM solution and you just need, say, things like timesheet, help with a timesheet process, timesheet technology, I'll use that example because that's what we're talking about today. You could just use our timesheet app without all the extras. So we're super flexible in our implementation strategy that you're only getting what you need when you need it, and you're not paying for a solution or features that you're not using. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Stella.
Hi, my name is Stella Salome. I'm a solutions architect here at Marquee 360, and I would like to talk to you guys today about resource and time management. So, as we all know, resource management, specifically time management, of course, for your resources is a critical and successful business process and efficiency. It's critical to that. Resource allocation, visibility into your resources and where they're allocated, over or under allocated, is a key issue currently in the workforce. We're finding a lot of resources that are underallocated, overallocated, and some are taking longer or less time to complete tasks per effort than originally estimated. Additionally, customers are needing a more granular view of the work being done by their resources, even down to the task level, for purposes of time management, resource management, task management, and the need to monitor estimated hours for a task versus actual hours. Fortunately, Marquee 360 has a solution that accounts for all of those needs. So let's take a look at PPM 360, which is Marquee 360's customized accelerator for Project for the Web. We're going to go ahead and start taking a look. We will start by taking a look at our schedule and resources as an overview of how and what resources are logging as far as their tasks go. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. So we'll start here from the home dashboard. So as we can see here, this is PPM 360, which is Marquee 360's accelerator for Project for the Web. It has a lot of very, very useful tools that account for all cycles of the project management lifecycle. But today we'll be taking a specific look at one of our key apps included in this PPM 360 solution, which is the Timesheets app. You can see the Timesheets app right here, where time is logged. But as I stated before, we'll go ahead and take a look at our project schedule and resources to give us an overview and look at where this timesheet information is coming from. So as you can see here are all my projects that I manage. Let's go ahead and go into my aerospace project. Here's some just summary information about my project. We also have project charter, status, financials, and resources. Now here is my resource team. This can be built at the time of your project, or you can simply add resources throughout the duration of your project if needed. Here, I can see each resource name, the role that they play in my project, the start date, which pulls from the schedule as the first task they're assigned to, and the finish date, which is the last date of the task that they're assigned to in the schedule. Here I can cumulatively the hours for tasks. So although Megan is working from June through December on this project, she may only be working on one task that equals 6 hours. This is a good form for resource managers to use when looking at timesheet submissions, and we'll see why here in a second. Now, looking at my schedule here, I can see some more information about the tasks, which will be what my resources are submitting time for in the Timesheets app. So you'll see that these will be familiar here on the timesheets when we pull it up. As we can see here, I have my project, aerospace, and then I have each task with people assigned to it. Now, for a given task, I may have multiple people assigned to that task. That will be splitting these effort hours. As we go through the project, I can see areas here where I have other people assigned. Now, if we go down to the specific time period we're in right now, we can see that today is December 7th. So if I wanted to look at timesheet submissions that have been submitted to me, it would have been for the previous week. And we'll see when we look at timesheet submissions here in a second, the ones that were submitted for Mia and Aaron as well. So as we can see here, we have the task control quality by Mia, maintain financial plan by Aaron, and then some others by Aaron down here. Now we can see a lot of information about this task here, which we can choose to also display on the timesheets when resources are submitting time or not. Like I said, it's extremely customizable. So now that we've taken a high overview look at our schedule, we can also see the tasks assigned by people here. So if I'm looking at a timesheet submission from Erin, I could go under Erin here and make sure that the time tasks that she's submitting for are for these two. Now, if I see a task that Erin submitted time for, that may be under Deepika or Megan's name or myself, it might be that I simply need to just move the task over to Erin. Now, let's go ahead and look at our timesheets. Here's our Timesheets app. From this original view, we can see the time period name here, which can be pre-customized by a customer for each resource to just simply select from, or they can create their own time period with a specifically formatted name. Here I can see the total hours that are submitted for this timesheet for this resource, the date it was created, and the status. Now, what's great about this view is that it's customizable. So we'll see here, for example, if I wanted to also add who the resource is, and who the timesheet manager is, for example, I could do so. I can rearrange these columns here in any order that I would like. So for example, if I wanted to see who the owner of the timesheet was first, total hours, and then maybe the timesheet manager as well. I can apply this view here. And now I may have a more useful view to me. Now what's great about this view is that it's by user, and I can come here and simply save as a new view. This doesn't save for all users, just personally for myself. And as we can see here, there will be a little person next to this view, which means the customized view that I've created. So simply from this view, we already have a lot of information here. Now let's go into one of these and see how much more information we can find. So as we just saw, Erin is on my aerospace project that we just looked at. And if we go ahead and take a look, let's look at Erin's tasks. So Erin has submitted a task here for build work breakdown. So it looks like she took over that task. So what's great is that you can limit this in the timesheet to only show tasks that that specific resource has already been assigned to, or you can have it include tasks across all projects, because as we know, resources help each other with tasks. So this has been submitted by Erin, and once submitted, approvers have multiple ways that they can receive and approve the request. Let's take a look at the first one, which is through Teams notification. So as we can see here, I have received a notification that Erin has submitted a timesheet. If I want to open this, I can find some more information specifically about it. I can reassign this to someone else to approve to another resource manager. I can approve directly from here or reject. I'm going to go ahead and approve Erin's timesheet. And here we can see it's been submitted. Now, this will, once it goes through the approval process, this will, here we go, as you can see, has been approved on 12/7 at this time. The second way that I mentioned that we can also approve notifications is directly from email. So if we look here at this email, I've received a request from Erin here. Now, as you can see, it updated because since I approved it from Teams, it's already completed the request. So I could have approved it first here from email, and then it would have shown the same thing in Teams, as in I've already completed this request. So you can receive the notification multiple ways. You can receive it through Teams, email, and then lastly, we'll take a look at our approvals area. So if you see here on the left, I have approvals. So resource managers or managers can have an area here where they see all of their approvals. So here we can see the history where I've received approvals. And I can see submitted a timesheet. I can open up the information here. I can click on a link here to review the timesheet within the app. I can select my response, add some comments, and go ahead and confirm it. Now, it's disappeared from my received approvals, but it is still logged in my history. So at this point, does anyone have any questions? Great. Okay. Well, so I would like to now go into the second part, and we'll go ahead and just submit a timesheet together. So we're going to submit a new timesheet here. So I'm going to select my manager, which could be Mia. I'm going to go ahead and select the time period, which, as I said, it can be pre-populated here for your users to select from. So you can have a week outlined by pay period, for example, that's already here, and simply they just have to select it. Upon submitting it, it will log the resource's name already here in this bookable. So even though it shows it says read only, it's because when I save it, we're going to see that it will populate my name. Now, when I go new timesheet line, I'm going to find the project that I'm working on. And this field can either be customizable to only show the user projects that they are assigned tasks in, or all projects, depending on how you want to customize the permission settings. I'll go ahead and select this project. So I can see here all the tasks under my name and ones that have been completed. So as I complete tasks, I can see here that they'll move under completed. So let's say it's Thursday and it's time for me to submit my timesheet. I would come into my projects here, look at completed, open up my timesheet, find the project, and search for the task. Here it is, Document Communications Management Plan, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and save. And when I save, we're going to see that at the bottom, it's going to pull up a lot of other options as well. So this can pull, once I've submitted, to pull all the other projects that I'm currently on, or once again, we can customize it to only show as new timesheets are added. Now that this is here, this is the project, this is the task, I can say, even though that task may have had a total of 8 effort hours, I was only able to complete 4 this week. And out of the 4, 2 of them were on Monday and 2 of them were on Wednesday. Now I can see here my other projects, and maybe I haven't finished these tasks yet. So maybe they're not quite ready for me to submit time on. Or maybe I've only completed 2 hours of this task out of the 10 total because I have a pending task from someone else. So I can select one, and this can act as a grid where I can simply just add time by task in here. But I'm actually not seeing the other tasks that I'm looking for in Tesla. Let's go ahead and add those. So new timesheet line, we'll look for Tesla. And the next one I'm looking at is document risk management plans. Now I have one more, developing staffing plan. Develop. There we go. I can save and close. I can also remind myself how many effort hours this task had. So, for example, it looks like this has a total of 8 effort hours for this task. So this is really useful in finding a variance between how many the actual and effort hours completed. So when I submit this, you can actually have it read back to the schedule and update or update the project manager on the actual hours. So they can utilize those hours that they might have in the contract for a customer on another task that may have taken more time than originally estimated. So now I know it's 8 hours for this one. So let's say I did complete all 8 this week. All right, so it looks like my timesheet is ready for submission. If I go up here and click on this calculator, I can see where it calculates the total hours I've logged. Now this is set to, we can set this field to automate upon, add or modify. So modifying these here, or simply using the calculator. This does help the app run more smoothly. So I confirm my timesheet manager who I'm submitting this to. I'm the bookable resource here, obviously. The week period is incorrect, but I would make sure that it was correct for here. Now we can go ahead and submit it. So as you can see, the timesheet's in progress. I'm going to go ahead and save. And where it says ready to submit, this will act as my trigger. So this will run the workflow to go ahead and process it through the approval process. So it's ready to submit, yes, save. And now when I save and close, I can see that's been submitted for approval. I can also see here where this one has been approved, the status on my view, and how customizable this can be. Now, a big thing that I want to touch on is resource allocation. A huge issue right now with companies is the ability to see which resources are over allocated and under allocated. This Timesheets app can account for that, and it can be modifiable to account for those types of things. So not only can we have someone come in and submit a new timesheet for tasks they've already completed, we can also have them submit for time off. Now for resource allocation reports, we'll go ahead and take a look at that. The ones that we have here at PPM 360. With our PPM 360 report pack, as Aaron was mentioning, we have 15 reports that come out of the box, and they are resource allocation reports. I'm sorry, they're resource reports, some which have availability heat map. So here's our first one that gives us just a big overview. Here's a list of resource assignments, which also can be useful for a resource manager to utilize instead of having to go back and forth through the project. So we saw here Mia, all the tasks that she was on for my project Tesla here. Start, finish, it looks like this one indicates it's overdue, and the percent complete. So as tasks are marked as completed in the schedule, these are updated to show. And the effort hours as well. Now, if I look at Erin, same thing. I can see that the project, the task that she submitted for here that we looked at. And then for myself as well. So you can see right now I'm filtered on the project Tesla alone. But let's say I wanted to filter on the aerospace project we're looking at and Tesla. I can select both of these from the filter. And now I can see where me is assigned to all the tasks for aerospace and all the tasks for Tesla. Now I can have it show all projects, but I have it filtered right now to just show the 2 that I'm managing. Now let's take a look at our most, I would say, possibly important report for resource allocation purposes. We can see here that the report is showing us a heat map by FTE. Now FTE, for those of you who may not know, stands for full-time equivalent. This means a full-time employee on average is 40 hours a week, which means that's 160 hours a month. So if we see here in our report, we can see areas where resources are over versus under allocated. A huge issue today is we have sitting resources that are underutilized and way too many that are overutilized. So it's important for businesses to be able to make decisions of, do we actually need to hire someone here? Do we have the resources to shift around? Or do we need to maybe get a contractor for the month of? Looking at this heat map, we might say, Mia can't do 14 jobs in November. So it looks like we may need to get a contractor or consider just hiring someone full-time, a resource that can be utilized in other areas as well. Now, what's great about this report is we can even get this down to the role level. So let's say, for example, I want to see all of my parts engineers or all of my resources with the role parts engineers. So I can see where I can pull from, who has the availability to do more work in that specific role. Although this report is showing in FTE, which is, this right here would be 0.25 times 160, there are ways to show hours on the report. So for example, if you wanted to show hours, then this would be calculated to show they're over by about, 40 hours or so here. So negative 40 hours in December can help me make a decision that I might just need someone for a week's worth there. So how we would do that is in the timesheet, is that when you go here to submit, you still have the same process, timesheet manager, and then you'd be the resource. The time period here either could be measured by week or by month. Here we have this report by month, but it also can be modified or customizable to show by week. When doing resource planning, enterprises normally look at by month, but we can also get down to the week level as well. So same concept here, look for the time period. It might be weeks that already have established. So let's say I'm going to be off for 2 days here. This allocation report is set to default for 40 hours for everyone, but this information can read back. So let's say, for example, I wanted to tell me that I needed to be off for 2 days this week. So instead of this being a task line, I would simply submit new timesheet line or maybe new time off, for example. I could enter, my time period's already been selected, so I could select a reason, for example, vacation, sick leave, or simply not for project work, since our report shows us who's available for project work. I could enter time as time off, so 8 hours off this week, and have the report do the calculation, or simply update to say I'm only available for 32 hours this week because I have a day off. Either way, whatever your process currently is used to. So today we've looked at our Timesheets app. We've looked at how it relates back to the schedule and how we can look at our resources table. Since we have a little bit of time, one last thing I will say that's exciting is with Microsoft's newest release in October, they've been able to make this table right here customizable, which means you can see different views. Now what this means is previously you weren't able to see role here. I like to see role next to my resources name, so I know what role they're playing on the project, so I edited that one. But we do have other views here too that can be customized. So for example, resource allocation shows me they're at full capacity, also shows me role. I can have one that shows me some different types of information here. You can even have it pull in some AD information, like who's the resource manager, location, anything that is available for when you're looking at a contact in Microsoft Outlook can be synced here. If you look at our team members view here, we also have a soft booked hours here, which means they're not hours that have been booked in the schedule. So if I wanted to edit these, for example, I could come into this resource, edit, and change this to actually 50. Let's say I wanted him for 120, was sent for approval, and the resource manager said, no, you can't have 120, but you can have him for 100, for example. I would save and close. It goes back to my default view. But if I go back to this view, I can see here now where he's at 100 instead of 120. Now the Timesheets app can also be utilized to not just submit time for current tasks, but also for soft booked hours, for example. So by project managers building a resource team and then requesting each resource for hours for a specific time period, they can use the combination of their availability, tasks they've already submitted time for, and other resource requests from other project managers to make those critical decisions. So back on our reports here, we'll take a look at our last one, which is our task overview report. So here we can see a lot of different information. We can see the number of projects, tasks across all projects. We can see task names, ones that are overdue, the project name. So for example, aerospace here. And here we have a direct link directly to the project as well. So as resource manager or someone looking at the report, if I recognize there's an issue, I can go directly to the report or directly into the project to manage it. I can say task status, so show me ones that are late, show me ones that are overdue, and show me ones that are coming up in the future. This also can be helpful with the timesheet submission. We have a lot of other cool reports that I would love to show you, but really want to stay focused on timesheets right now.
Hi, Stella.
Yes.
Quick question. What happens if someone on the team has to submit a timesheet but doesn't have a project plan license?
So luckily, I'm happy you asked, Erin. We have a solution for that. So it's actually not an issue for them to access that. We have something that we can build called a Canvas app, and that reads the information into that. So if it's just for timesheets, they don't need a project license. Good question, though. And licensing is also changing on a day-to-day basis, but with our solution, those changes wouldn't matter. Are there any questions or anything else that anyone would like to see specifically, whether it be about timesheets or project for the web?
Yeah, could you show a little bit of how that interacts with projects? Just, if they tie in together, what that in between looks like.
Yes, so they do definitely tie in together. So as you can see here, when I went to submit my timesheet, it's pulling tasks directly from the schedule. So as you can see here, I have aerospace, and this is the task monitor satisfaction. So if I come here, I can see, let me actually go to my other one. So this is Tesla project. So if I go to my aerospace project, it's pulling the task directly from the schedule. So if the task doesn't exist in the schedule, then it doesn't appear for the user to submit that timesheet. So we can see here, we have aerospace monitor satisfaction as a task. Oops, wrong project. Here we go. Here we go. Monitor satisfaction here. So that's how that reads back. So here's my project, and then this is my task schedule. So if I were to delete this, or sorry, it's marked as complete, but if I were to delete this task altogether, it would no longer appear here in the timesheets. Now we can have this set to where it only appears the project and tasks once a resource is actually assigned to it. So for example, for this one, it would only show for me, no one else. Or we can have people have to go add them individually. The way it reads back is that, so for this project, for this task, this is 120 hours, right? Well, in general, we like to finish tasks before the time that we initially estimated. So they can enter the actual hours and timesheet. It doesn't force them or say, mark this complete, and it just makes the assumption that it took 120 hours. I can come in here and say, it actually took me 8 every day of the week, but then I was able to finish it over 2 weeks, for example. And let's say I worked on Saturday as well to make up for it. Now we can customize this to where it just shows Monday through Friday, not Saturday and Sunday, which will probably be the default for most people. But then now it's saying my line total 56 hours here, as we can see. So once I submit this timesheet, I can put on my comments here, all tasks completed. And now the timesheet manager that I'm submitting this to, which would be the project manager, if it's not the project manager approving it, then they would at least get notification of it for those tasks. And they know the amount of time that it actually took for those tasks. And they can come into their project schedule now and say, this is complete. If the burden to do that's not already on the team member, which generally it is, to come in here and mark their own task as complete, but they can ensure that they update their hours that they actually took to 56. So there's lots of workflows that can be set up to read one back to the other. May I ask what, if any, timesheet applications are currently being used? I know Workday is a really big one. And or how are your resources currently submitting time off? And is that being, taken into account in resource management? Benjamin, did you want to maybe, how's your team managing resources right now?
Oh, I apologize. I thought that was just a general question. That's everyone. So actually, this is just an exploration. I'm, as I'm sure you can tell now, just educating myself from scratch on all of this. We're not currently using anything, more just considering what good options we might want to start off with.
Do you currently have a way to account for resources time off when you're looking at like when you're deciding to start a project or which resources can be assigned to a specific project? How are you currently making those decisions?
No, we don't have any tool for tracking that right now.
Has that been an issue for your team?
It's kind of a new department, so still kind of trying to figure out what tools like this to bring in as we're hitting this growing pains. I think we're starting to, but I'm kind of new in this role. Don't know exactly what the history of that has looked like, but
I see. So what project management tool are you guys using right now in general?
we're just now starting projects.
Oh, awesome. Project for the web?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
No, I think desktop.
oh, okay. Well, I will let you know that Microsoft legacy project management tool, which means that they are no longer investing time in that. And from what I've heard, so the project for the web, what we're looking at now, is their newest, brightest project management tool. So similar in many ways, but this is kind of like the sister to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
our Timesheets webinar, I believe, can work with project as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. And the schedule part that I showed you, it's very similar to, project, this part right here, project online. You'll see it's very similar in many capacities.
Mm-hmm. Another question. So we're using Teams for all of our communications. Does this integrate into Teams in any way?
Oh yeah, it sure does. I'm happy you asked me that actually. So what's great is that, the projects we looked at, aerospace here and Tesla,
Mm-hmm.
I can simply just see them here. So like I said, Marquee 360 has applications to account for every part of the project lifecycle, including an intake. So let's say you have an idea for a project and you want to submit that idea in an intake. Once it gets approved, all the information from intake actually already gets, including this, a schedule template, everything, all the information you want to map over, creates the project and project for the web based on that intake. What we can do is we can either have a trigger that automatically creates a Teams channel for the project, or upon it being approved, it automatically just creates one. And what that is that's here what we're looking at. So, we can have a welcome post, welcome to the group, and then even a file structure. So let's say you always use one kickoff. And the value of this is if you have a project manager that's managing 3 major projects and they just get COVID or drop off, you can kind of have another project manager come in here, and if they have a similar file structure that they're following, I kind of know where will the weekly status reports be. And then here's project details. So I can actually manage my project details and schedule directly within the app here. So I can look at my tasks. And so project for the web, their integration with Teams, in spring 2024, they actually announced at Microsoft's Ignite conference that they're actually going to be changing the name of Project for the Web to Planner, due to the fact that they're going to be integrating now Project for the Web, Teams, To Do, and Planner. So what's great is you can go into Planner and say, show all tasks assigned to me, and it's actually going to pull all the tasks that you're assigned to within the projects and Project for the Web. So you can see them all there and drop them in, different buckets that you want. Manage project plans, create to-do lists from the checklists items, as you can see here. You can add checklists for items or even attachments. So that's what's great about that. So we're all on the edge of our seats waiting for that to come out.
No, thanks for that walkthrough.
Yeah, of course. Carol, did you want to share anything or have any questions? Okay. Okay, well, Erin, I don't know if anyone has any additional
Thanks,
questions.
Stella.
Yeah, I would love to show anything else anyone wants to show or anything anyone wants to see.
Awesome. Like we said, we were just trying to take one piece of it to make it a little bit more digestible for you today. But like Stella says, our solutions can do a lot. They can be customized to do a lot of different things. So just trying to show you a few of the possibilities today. But if anybody has any questions about what it can do, or you're struggling in a certain area, please feel free to reach out to Megan. She's more than happy to set up a separate call with you all. I'm also going to put a survey in the chat. It just lets us know how the webinar was for you all, and how you would like some follow-up post-webinar. And thank you so much for joining us today.